And it's really not going to let up until later tomorrow. Some spots are just going to have steady, moderate to heavy rain for much of Wednesday. And I'll run through the futurecast to show you. But the bulk of the moisture of that atmospheric river is now moving to the south into Oregon. That's where we're going to have the heaviest rain during the day, but then it quickly returns. And you see it's still pretty dreary out there. A lot of the precipitation to our south. It's going to lift back to the north. Winds are going to pick up as well, especially tonight when there's a wind advisory in place. So you see for much of the day we're dry here in the greater Seattle area, and then rain increases. And you can see morning, midday, not seeing much in the way of precipitation. This afternoon, generally south of Seattle, but then this evening, overnight, we'll have widespread rain except for that rain shadow. But that shadow is going to fill in as Wednesday goes on. And we have that wind advisory because of the threat for gusts up to 40 miles per hour this evening all the way through tomorrow evening. That advisory is in place. But through Friday, we still have that flood watch in place as we're expecting more waves of rain, and that's going to lead to more sharp river rises, even though they're receding right now. And we could have some lowland flooding as well. You see all the bright greens, those are flood warnings in place. Here's a look at the futurecast quickly. You see that break, but then it quickly returns later today.
We are keeping a very close eye on area rivers as water levels continue to rise. We're tracking over 10 flood warnings in effect as we speak, with several rivers expecting a larger second crest in the coming days. From Snohomish to King to Pierce counties, our crews are spread out all around the Sound with team coverage this morning. So Drew, we'll start with you live in North Bend, where eastbound I-90 has been reopened for a while after a mudslide overnight.
Right, Christine, something really unusual that happened. It was about 11:30 last night when this mudslide occurred, and all of the eastbound lanes of I-90 near North Bend were closed until about 5:45 when WashDOT deemed it safe to reopen, and now things are cruising as normal as you cross over the pass. Let's show you some video. We were able to get a up-close look here at the mudslide. This was as crews were using an excavator and cleaning it up, but essentially what happened was a bunch of debris came down off the hillside and then into the road along I-90. Initially, WashDOT thought they'd have to wait until daylight to reassess, but they deemed it safe to reopen prior to that. However, what it meant was trucks that were just having to wait all night and a lot of commuters that got stuck, like this woman we spoke to.
I'm gonna wait until morning until it opens up, so yeah, a lot of snow. Yeah, but never a mudslide.
So she commutes over the pass for work, so that was a normal drill for her. So she, we now assume, is on her way this morning, and a lot of truck drivers too just had to stop there overnight. So as I mentioned, this is something that's pretty uncommon here in this area. Typically, there'd be a lot more snowpack here. You can see around me just the lack of snow that's here. This morning it's rained a fair amount, but that really is about it. Reporting live, Drew Andre, King 5 News.
Okay, Drew, thanks for that update. So let's check in with Farah Jadrin live in Snohomish County, where the Snohomish River around Gold Bar hit major flood stage overnight. Farah, we're now getting some good daylight now. What are you seeing at this hour?
Yeah, well, you know what? Any river around here is going to be moving along pretty briskly, like here at the Wallace River, also in Gold Bar. So if you live in this area, this isn't an uncommon sight. But look how quickly it's moving without any rain, without any additional wind or additional current. Add that rain that's coming back again for another round, and that's when things start to get dangerous. Now take a look at this video we have from overnight. Both the Snohomish River and the Wallace River over here was causing some concerns for law enforcement in Gold Bar, including the police department and Snohomish County Sheriff's deputies. Many of them went into different neighborhoods that were at a more imminent risk of flooding to check on people. We did hear that 2 campers were rescued who were near the Snohomish River. They needed to be brought to higher ground with the use of a fire rescue boat. So again, just take a look at how briskly the Wallace River is moving along. And this is a smaller river compared to the Snohomish, but it runs parallel. So a lot of neighborhoods are sandwiched between these 2 rivers. Once that heavier constant rain starts to come through, you could see this rising again and potentially causing some dangerous issues. So if you come upon a road that has water over it, don't chance it. Don't try to drive through it. Even if you have a taller vehicle, there could be debris in there. It could cause a flat tire or cause you to get stuck there. So use your best judgment and make sure to check on folks that might be living near areas that could have those rising waters later on. Live in Gold Bar, Farah Jadran, King 5 News.
Okay, some great reminders. Thanks very much, Farah. And we're also following power outages in our region. So far, only Puget Sound Energy is reporting significant outages. Right now, there are about 2,300 customers without power. The outages are pretty scattered. The biggest outages are right outside Auburn, in Snoqualmie, and in Redmond. We'll keep following these throughout the morning. Closer to the coast out in Grays Harbor County, emergency crews are working closely and monitoring the Lake Sylvia Dam because it's showing some signs of increasing stress. They said failure is not occurring, but that could change if the weather conditions persist. The area is expecting, of course, more rain later on this evening and tomorrow. Officials are asking downstream residents in the Montesano-Sylvia Creek area to be prepared for more flooding and to take action on short notice. Back in June, inspectors found cracks, by the way, in the aging dam. For now, crews say everyone should stay off the trails that lead to the lake. In Pierce County, here is what the Puyallup River looked like less than 24 hours ago. The river levels have risen significantly overnight, but are expected to drop today. Overnight, the rain continued to pummel the roads and the river.
I can't believe how high the river is. The couple that I passed when I'm coming here, I thought, am I going to be able to get back home? Because it's up there.
We could see some rivers break records over the next 24 hours.
Power outages can often happen during winter storms. Walker Lawson has some advice for staying safe when your power goes out.
There are ways you can stay safe. The Red Cross of South Carolina recommends having a kit before the first flakes fall.
If you lose power, you lose water. So make sure you have, water for your family members. We always like to say at least 3 days worth. Hopefully power wouldn't be out that long, but we never know.
Rebecca Jordan, executive director for the Red Cross of South Carolina, says using batteries is better for lighting than candles and to keep blankets to stay warm.
A lot of home fires in South Carolina, on average 6 a day. So we don't want people to use candles. I mean, even without losing power, we sometimes see people use space heaters and maybe have them too close to curtains or a sofa where then they ignite. So we do see fires, but a lot of fires start in the kitchen. So.
That's when Columbia Fire has to respond. Mike DeSuma, public information officer with Columbia Fire, says during these events, they respond most to accidents on the roadways, but there's always a risk for fires.
If you haven't, used your fireplace in a while, during a storm event is not really the time to just fire it up and see what happens. You got to make sure your fireplace is good to burn. It's really good if you've burned it in already and know it's safe to go. Definitely making sure you have a screen in front of your fireplace to prevent any embers from flying out there and catching stuff on fire.
DeSuma advises people to have a friend or family's place to go if it's cold and you lose power.
Window treatments can help save you money in your heating costs this winter. The Energy Department estimates in an average home, 1/3 of heat is lost through the windows. You can prevent some of that from happening by keeping the drapes or shades closed at night. That can actually act as an extra layer of insulation between your home and the windows. This helps keep up to 10% more heat inside your home, which can lower your energy bill. And don't forget about your plants in the winter. Experts say 24 hours before a big freeze, water your plants deeply, soaking them all the way down to the root. That will help insulate vegetables, herbs, and flowers. You can also get covers to protect your plants. One expert says he uses Christmas lights.
Just covering a plant when it goes down below freezing and stays below freezing for 2 days, that is a penetrating cold, and a cover oftentimes is not enough. I figured out that if you put Christmas lights around a plant, especially at the soil, and plug them in, they're heaters. It's an indoor-outdoor heater.
You can also try adding mulch to any landscaping beds and on top of soil for newly planted shrubs and trees. That will also help insulate plants in the freezing weather. And just like people and plants, extreme cold can also be harmful to your pets. Experts say a good rule of thumb is if you're cold outside, your animals will be too.
If you have a very young or very old animal, they're even more susceptible to the cold. So if pets do have to be outside, make sure that they're cuddly and safe and warm. There are ways to weatherproof things for animals that maybe, you have a community cat you're caring for. Lots of great stuff you can do there. But for your pets, just please bring them inside. It is far too cold. Additionally, cats and small mammals might seek shelter near or under your car. So honk the horn, tap on that top of the car, get them out of there. Wipe your pet's paws off if you have salt or other chemicals on the pavement, and just use your best judgment.
Veterinarians and other experts also recommend snow boots for your dogs to protect their paws. It can also help them keep safe from the ice when it melts, which can be toxic for pets, and prevent them from getting frostbite. Yes, dogs can get frostbite too if the temperature is below 32 degrees. The American Kennel Club says dogs' tails, ears, nose, and paws are more susceptible. Well, that does it for us today on this Weather Impact Special. I'm Jessica Janner Castro. Thanks so much for watching, and stay safe and warm this winter.